in a very dangerous situation right now because I feel like right now we have a more effective handshake than the one Raila and
Uhuru had.
Because now Ruto has the entire parliament in his hand and he can pass anything with one tone, without respecting anything.
Impunity.
Yeah, because right now, tell me who can oppose anything Ruto says. If that finance bill is brought, it will
Except
go
us,
on.
we can oppose. For us, Gen Z.
Yeah, we are going to oppose from outside.
We will oppose, yes.
But parliament is the people's instrument to check the executive.
And
they have failed to do that.
And talking about opposing and proposing, when just the other day, that is on Wednesday, if I'm not wrong, when Rigathi Gachagua now was talking to the nominated or the appointed CSS, after William Ruto had given me that chance to talk to them, there is a statement that Rigathi Gachagua said that the only person that needs to make decisions is William Ruto. And he said he said that right now they are like soldiers in a camp, and the camp must only have one troop leader, and that is William Ruto. So that one tells us that in as much as maybe we've been asking ourselves why the former CSS failed, they didn't fail because maybe they were incompetent somehow, but they failed because the person that they were supposed to report to was the one now that was telling them everything that they do. And Professor, that one brings me to this question.
Yes.
That I heard you talking about today in the morning. You are saying that the vetting in Kenya has vetted thieves.
Yes.
Through history.
Yeah.
What did you mean by saying that? That the vetting in Kenya has vetted thieves all along, from history to history.
Now, let me ask you. Every money we have stolen, we have lost that money through a legitimate leader. Kwanza, Supreme Court confirmed the election of William Ruto, isn't it? IEBC declared him elect, isn't it? EACC, Anti-Corruption Commission, also gave him the clean bill of health to run for election. He was given a clearance.
Yeah.
When all this was going on, where were we? Those institutions should first of all stop somebody. Then parliament is there that can impeach or not, isn't it? Now, look at all the state officers. The DCI was vetted in parliament, isn't it? You go to ORPP, Office of the Registrar of Political Parties.
Yeah.
You go to Office of the Public Prosecution. You go to Inspector General. Even the person tear gassing and shooting Kenyans and killing them and maiming them and murdering them and doing everything. All these people have passed through parliament. So the worst scam in this country is parliament.
Yes.
That's why we have said it at the People's Assembly, that parliament now must be dissolved. Because parliament has become a washing machine that tries to wash people. Parliament is the place where it has become even easier, Boniface. You know, before when you want to rob, you used to take a gun, isn't it?
Yeah.
And shoot. But nowadays,
You don't need to use a gun.
no, you just need to use the Bible, a suit, and a pen.
So
Have you seen all people, even the ones who are thieves, saying, I am swearing in the name of God, isn't it?
I so and so do swear.
Yes, then after they swear, then they sit down and start lying to us, and parliament cannot detect. You know, in scholarly, there's what called the power of the test. You should test something to declare them negative, isn't it?
Yes.
So when you see someone who has stolen money and there's evidence, isn't it? And they are telling you that parliament could not detect their thieves, isn't it? Someone comes and says that people are saying I have been stealing drugs. Let them come and tell me now. So how do we access parliament apart from when we had to die for it, isn't it? So parliament has become a place that is used for cleansing thieves. And these thieves come and steal from us with a pen. Now, when Mbadi was there, seated there, he said when he sat there that he has to lower taxes, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, then 2 days later, he says he has to raise taxes. Who cleared him? Parliament.
Parliament.
Isn't it? Tell me anyone who has stolen money. Moses Kuria was there in the Ministry of Trade, isn't it? They stole money using G2G oil, isn't it? They brought for us adulterated fuel. They gave us bad sugar, isn't it? Linturi was there with the fertilizers.
Giving us stones.
You can name any thief. That thief has passed through the gate of Parliament and has been cleared by Parliament and has been defended by Parliament. So according to me, we have a Parliament that clears thieves in daylight, broad daylight, isn't it? Because money passes through Parliament for anyone to be cleared. So the more money you have, the easier it should be cleared. Joho, of course, inspired me by his speech, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that does not overwhelm me. I'm looking at... Let me ask you, my brother. Let's be honest. If someone says that I have made 2.3 billion shillings, isn't it? What was your salary? The highest paid job in Kenya, if you work for government, is 2.5 million for the president.
For the president.
Yeah.
The highest paid corporate leader in Kenya is the CEO of Cooperative Bank, who earns 26 million shillings a month, isn't it?
Yeah.
So these people have worked for how long? If they earn a maximum of 26 million, which they don't earn because they have never worked for Cooperative Bank, isn't it? How can they make? Then thirdly, Gachagua. The net worth of Gachagua before he joined government was, he said he was taken away from him a net of 7.5 billion.
Yeah.
Now, can you tell me any company in Kenya that makes a net profit of 7.5 billion?
None.
No, it's either KCB or Safaricom, isn't it? Now, Safaricom, even if you get out of this room, there's an M-Pesa shop here. We can count how many employees they have employed to make that money, isn't it? Who are the employees of Gachagua? You know, can you count how many Gachagua have employees? I've also seen a lot of things trending here. Oh, you know, so and so, even the one you have said here, Jim Wanjigi is a rich man, isn't it? And you have said that even if wives does not have to care how they put their hair, isn't it? But also there are questions we have to ask, isn't it? Jim Wanjigi is always introduced as a businessman, isn't it? Which company does he run? And how many people have he employed, isn't it? Can they be able to generate a footprint that can generate these billions? Let everybody be asked. Fred Ogola, what is my wealth, isn't it? How have I made my wealth? So I'm asking Gen Zs, now it is high time to check and with the tooth comb, everybody, what do they own? How have they gotten this money?
Yes.
And let's put everybody to account. If you want to challenge us for any position, let us have an open book contest. Bring your net worth on the table, isn't it? Let's verify how you made your money. Rather than looking at this person has a lot of money, so he looks nice, isn't it? Let us not be persuaded, because we have to start with honesty. This guy called Oparanya, isn't it? Yes. He was the governor of Kakamega. How much money does a governor earn per month, isn't it? How has his net worth grown? And Parliament were asking very pedestrian questions. And this one now start looking like a movie. When someone is, so how have you made your money? Asset appreciation, isn't it? I have some chicken, I have some cuckoos, isn't it? I have some people doing nails somewhere making for me money, and I've become a billionaire. How many Kenyans are also selling cuckoo, are
making
selling
nails,
eggs, making nails, and they have billions of shillings accumulating in their account? Let us be honest. So these guys are telling us they are better businessmen than us. For us, we are stupid. For you, you own a studio and you cannot see $1 billion in your balance sheet, isn't it? Then somebody says, I was selling chicken feathers and I'm now a billionaire, isn't it? Someone says from charcoal to gold. To gold. All these stories must now be audited. I'm not saying I'm against anybody. In fact, we should not hate rich people. Even God does not want us to be poor, isn't it? Yes. But God wants us to be poor this way. The 10 Commandments are very clear. And I like God, by the way. You know, as a Catholic, there are some things we need to learn in this show, my brother. Do you know why, Boniface, why the 10 Commandments are all in negative? Yes, because the Testament said, do not steal.
Yeah, do not.
Thou shalt not, thou shalt not, thou shalt not, isn't it? Why does God say that? God is a very good being, isn't it? God tells you what you should not do, then tells you the rest you can do.
Like it is your decision.
So God says, do not steal, but God does not, don't be wealthy. You can be wealthy, but do not
steal.
God does not say, don't have children. It says, do not fornicate. You can have a child, but not through adultery. Isn't it? God does not want you to talk, but says, do not gossip or talk negatively of other people. Isn't it? But talk from morning to evening. Talk.
Talk all you
But
want.
do not insult people. Don't wish people bad. God just says don't. For us in Kenya, we need to define. You can be wealthy. Yes. Like, for example, James Mwangi runs Equity Bank, isn't it? You can be wealthy. James Moria runs Centum. You can be wealthy. I like those people, the Mauranga boys who came from Muranga and said, let's go take over the economy of Kenya, isn't it? And they are demonstrated through creating value, employing people, and be able to earn their money.
Yes.
But someone who comes from Nyeri and says, Mimi ni msema kweli, and you're worth over 20 billion shillings.
Now when msema kweli.
When
You
msema
can't
kweli,
explain it.
and you can't explain how it's coming from. Let's start from the truth. How have you made your billions?
Yes.
The president now must be more than a trillionaire. What am I trying to say? Because Auditor General's report is showing that this year they said we have 1 trillion shillings we borrowed we can't account for, isn't it? So who has that money? If not him, then he knows where it is. If he doesn't know, then what is the use of intelligence?
Yeah.
So how can I ask you, my brother, that somebody is worth more than 1 trillion, while for you, hata sahi tunakunywa chai na hata hakuna mandazi. Sivyo? This is the problem we are having in this country. Yeah.
So, okay, Omwayo, as we wind up, I want you to I want you to talk like a Gen Z. What can you tell the Gen Zs economic, because our main topic was on economy. What is your take? What should the Gen Zs do in order to make sure that now we retrieve the economy of Kenya?
Okay. This is not about the Gen Zs alone. It's also about the millennials.
I just wanted to focus on then I'll give Professor to talk about the Generation X and the Millennium.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
okay, just talk generally. Just talk.
Generally.
Yeah, generally.
Generally, this is what we should do. Enough with talking. And that's why I came up with a very brilliant idea. It's called Project 2025.
Okay.
I wasn't the founder of the project. But I borrowed it from the US. There's a document called Mandate for Leadership. You can look it up online. This explains how it was made by the Heritage Foundation. And it explains how the Republicans plan to take power after the next elections and wield it aggressively to support the common American. It has the following topics. Taking the reins of government, the common defense, the general welfare, which includes all the departments of government, agriculture, education, energy, commission, environmental protection agencies, and all the rest. 4, the economy, the Department of Commerce, Treasury, Export, Import, Federal Reserve, Small Business Administration, independent, Section 5, independent regulatory agencies, like now for us, we have EACC and the rest. And how we can overhaul the entire system.
Yeah.
We can't replace Ruto with the threats on the streets. That's not how we can do it. And we want, when we launch Project 2025, we fire the entire government, including all parastatal heads and their boards of management, and we rehire them. First, because in terms of meritocracy and not nepotism. Once we rehire these people, I know we will rehire only less than 40% of the people. The rest of the 60 will be prosecuted and their assets must be seized. But that can only happen if all the Kenyans unite in one front. And you see, it's very hard to do that because there's a lot of people. Okay, let me categorize it. we have the 1% who run the government,
Mm-hmm.
and we have the 10%
Mm.
who make sure that government continues to run, and they are making a hell of money from it. So this 10%, the 90%, we must be able to overwhelm these people and take power forcefully and wield it aggressively to clear the entire system, because the entire system is rotten. You go to ask for a tender somewhere and you're told, who do you know? There's no meritocracy. And that is what we want to change. It's called Project 2025. And my senior here is going to talk about the first steps on how that is going to be done.
And just a brief, a quick question.
Yeah.
You've talked about cleaning the system.
Yeah.
So my question is,
Yeah.
while planning to clear the system,
Yes.
do you have a strategy that you're going to use that, let's say, for instance, you've cleared the state house,
Yes.
the president, the deputy president, and all those people?
Yes.
Do you have a proper plan that after these people vacate the office, immediately someone will replace them, or you'll still take some little time, the mistake that the Gen Zs did by going to the streets without a proper plan, which made them fail, and then at the end of the day, you come to realize that right now William Ruto has got has made a lot of inquiries and here and there, so he's coming back strong. So when preparing to clear the system, do you have a proper strategy that you're going to use that immediately when we do this is what we're going to do?
Yes, we have started laying out structures.
Mm-hmm.
As we talk, I have a group of more than 20 young men
Okay.
who are doing heavy research. Let's put it, let's say the Ministry of Education, how the entire ministry is structured, the office of the PS, the office of the CS, and all the boards that are included in the ministry, and including all the other let's say branches of the Ministry of Education, like now HELB. We have a lot inside there. We are delineating roles and assigning roles to each and every role that is essentially in that. Maybe if it is the board of HELB, each of the members in the board, what should they be doing?
So basically, all these are just students, or they are.
Some of them are students.
The rest are just experts.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Professor.
Yes.
Just a quick one, and then we wind up the session. I want to ask you. Just the other day, the former CS of Treasury talked about ghost workers in the government. And he said that a lot of things are happening, and a lot of money is being spent, whereby you find that people are being paid, but the people that are being paid, you don't know them. You only hear that money has gone somewhere. There are some schools which have got the gate. The gate is named a school, but when you enter into the compound, there is no school. What is your take? And just finalize, what is your take on the ghost workers, and how are you people? How are you going to deal with it in case William Ruto vacates the office?
So first and foremost, I want to tell Professor Njuguna Ndongo, my colleague, economist, and also a professor, he's also a faculty like me, that those things, you don't say them when you're out of office. You should say them when you are inside office, when you have legitimacy. You cannot wait to hire people when you have already left office. First of all, as Kenyans, Gen Zs, millennials, Gen Xers, baby boomers, everybody, the first quality is honesty.
Yes.
Let us choose the head of state like you can choose your life partner. If you discover that your boyfriend or your girlfriend is dishonest, will you marry them? When the man kneels on the street and ask a woman, will you marry me? Don't look at his pocket. Look at his honesty. I know there's a song which says, afadhali kulia kwa Range Rover badala kucheka kwa bodaboda, isn't it? Lakini this is not the same way we manage economy. So number one is honesty. When there is no honesty, this will not work at all. So those statements, we need an honest system.
Who was saying, like the governors in general have like 20 billion budgeted for giving the bursaries. The MPs have another 20. The president himself has another 40 for bursaries. Why don't we just make education free? Why do we have to put it into the MP's pockets, and then they come and give us our taxpayer money, and then they want us to thank them and deify them? It's wrong.
You know, first and foremost, let us not focus on who is the leader. Let us focus on leadership. That's why we have come out with the collectives. Yeah. Isn't it? We have organizations which are collectives. We offer leadership and give direction. The next move here must be offering leadership. Yes. After leadership, we need to do what's called organization. Let's be organized. Yes. So we need to be organized. After organization, we do mobilization. After mobilization, then we take over. Yes. Which means there's already a leader and there's a leadership, isn't it? So a leader among the leaders will emerge by how they're able to manage us. We don't want someone claiming that, no, what? I was in Moi's government, I can be a leader. No. You can't tell me, for example, I'm hearing, Matiang'i was very good in Ruto'S government. Uhuru's government, he can become a leader, isn't it? Yes. We have not worked with him, so we don't know him. Come and join the leadership. Demonstrate your leadership capabilities. Let Matiang'i come from the US and live in Kenya so that we can see the scandals he had, whether he will be investigated for. Let him answer all questions, because some of us go to the media and tell Ruto, you are a thief. Do you know if there's anything I saw in this country, I cannot be speaking and telling Ruto is a thief? I cannot say parliamentarians are washing machine and they are proving theft, because tomorrow will be investigated. Yeah. They have done investigation. They have found my account is in negative. They found that I have nothing. The only thing I have is that I have a brain, isn't it? And I'm being honest,
a functioning brain.
So that is the only thing that we have to focus on. Let us focus on building the leadership, I repeat. Secondly, organization. How can we be well organized? Because you cannot take up an organized government when you are disorganized. There should be Gen Z police commandant, who is the commandant of the whole of Nairobi, who knows how thick a highway will look like, how Mombasa Road will look like. Yeah. Who With knows when somebody throws a tear gas, what do we do? We don't just jump and respond anyhow. We have to organize our media so that media can be organized. We have to organize, properly mobilize and bring Ruto down. Because according to me, I know businessmen are suffering there. I'm also a businessman. But should you suffer forever or suffer for a period of time and see change?
They don't have customers.
Yeah, so I'm trying to say this is what we call focused poverty. Yes. And I want to end by giving an anecdote. My father was a catechist. He earned very little money. Yes. So tell me, Fred, for me, I know you are a young boy with the future. You are a brilliant person. We can see this from class 1, class 2. Actually, I was not actually good in class 1 and 2. I was very bad in school in class 1. I was among the number 1 last. I started becoming very good in class 3 and 4. When I woke up and discovered if I'm not educated, I'll suffer. So my father told me, Fred, what I'll do is that I'll not buy for myself a house. I'll not buy for myself any property, but I'll educate you so that for me, I die poor. But with my sacrifice, you can actually get somewhere. So there must be a generation that must sacrifice for others. We have seen, for example, people fought for this liberation. Dedan Kimathi, he never saw the beauty of a country we have, isn't it? Maybe from heaven, God gives him the grace to see what's happening. He never really witnessed it. People like Robert Ouko, who died, Tom Mboya, Jacob Juma, isn't it? All these leaders who died on behalf of liberating this country. So even us, we have to sacrifice. Like now, when I went to the media and said Ruto is a thief and is a con man, he has stolen our economy and he cannot revise it. What did he do? He called Strathmore to fire me. You understand? Is that what the sacrifice made? How much is a professor's salary in Strathmore? I've never seen that salary for 2 years now, isn't it? While for you, you don't want to sacrifice a little bit for your business so that we can bring down the dictator and forever create a direction for prosperity. Let me also add by saying to Gen Zs and millennials, I started going on TV in 2022. Do you know how much it costs to go from one TV station to another? If you go for 4 per week, isn't it? You don't fly on wings, isn't it?
You use fuel.
You use fuel. It is costly and no one pays you. At the same time, you also have to put bread on the table. So I ran on TV to talk, at least to educate Kenyan civic education. But at the same time, you have to go and work and put bread on the table. Because there's a friend of mine who told me, Professor, when you don't have money and you tell a woman you have no money, the woman starts seeing you as a goat. And I was actually saying that the economic turmoil we have in Kenya is not just affecting us economically, but spiritually, psychologically, it's creating gender-based violence, because when you have no money and your wife tells you are useless when you have no money, mnaweza mkakosana kidogo, sivyo? Na some people wanakosana sana.
Yeah.
You are lucky mkikosana kidogo. Some people wanakosana sana mpaka you can hit somebody. So we are praying that the economy comes back, even to rectify families. I'm sure pastors and bishops are feeling it. Now there's a lot in marriage counseling, isn't it? Psychiatrists have a lot of conditions actually to deal with.
Yes.
All this is an economy that we need to address. And I can tell you, if we do not go to the root cause of the problem and address it rightly as this now, we will never ever have a chance. And I'm sure, let's suspend all our self-interest and put our country first, and then bring down the dictator and uproot him plus everything. When you say Ruto must go, plus his philosophy, plus his followers, plus his whatever it is, let them go home and replace this government by clean people to run a clean system.
Yeah. Now, when an innocent man walks with a wife on the streets, the only thing that will show you that that man was not as innocent as he looks is when the 9 months of that woman comes to an end. That is all we had for today. Until we meet again, I've been your host, Boniface Owino.